Yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you both for being here tonight and sharing your
Glad
perspective.
to be here.
It was, I mean, I'm still
Yeah,
speechless.
thanks, Laura.
I'm still speechless. And guys, as I described in the angle, the Democratic Party is facing problems far greater than Clinton's past, though. These are substantive problems, especially the refusal to recognize that they've lost a huge chunk of the white working class in America. Now, let's get insight from Democratic pollster Doug Schoen, who helped Clinton rebrand his message after the shellacking in the '94 midterms. Doug, it's so great to see you tonight. I was watching Bill Clinton's press conference that he did at the White House. I know you remember it well. On November 9th, 1994. Oh, my God, we were all young back then, Doug. We were all kids. We're watching this. And he said, look, I take responsibility. I take responsibility, partial responsibility for what happened. The voters want change. I'm going to work with Republicans. I'm not going to turn my back on my goals, but I'm going to work with Republicans. He basically said because that's what the people want. That is what the people want today, too, I believe.
It absolutely is, and that's why I am so upset with the current direction of the Democratic Party, where the progressive left is pushing the party farther and farther, redistribute, resist, guaranteed jobs, guaranteed health care, but no individual initiative, no job creation, no helping business, and Laura, most of all, no inclusive policies, because what we did with Bill Clinton, which was I think right, which was we brought the country together, balanced budget, welfare reform. I'm proud of that. I think he's proud of that. If there were aspects, as there are, of his record that frankly require apologies and no pride, well, we heard that today, but he does have, I think, a record that represents a better direction for the Democratic Party than the current one.
Yeah, I mean, that November election in '94 was historic. The House, after 50 years being shut out, went Republican. Gingrich rides in, and there were real ideas. There was a real debate about ideas. And I say this to my Democrat friends all the time, Doug. What is your idea? How are you going to get to 4.7% GDP if that Atlanta Fed prediction is right? How are you going to get to record low unemployment for African Americans? How are you going to get business confidence? And it's like, well, Robert Mueller. Like every time they say there's Robert Mueller or Paul Manafort or, okay, I get it. That's important. But how are you going to make the lives of average Americans better, Doug? And they don't want to have that conversation.
Let me say it bluntly. The Democratic Party is in a civil war between the moderates, a shrinking group that I speak for and represent in my own way, and the surging progressives who represent basically socialism and a series of policies that guarantees outcomes rather than opportunities. I think it's bad for America, bad for the Democratic Party, and I think you're right. And sadly, all that was good about what we were able to do in the 90s has disappeared. And I, as a Democrat, I disagree with the president on a lot of things, but it's hard to reject the extraordinary job numbers of last week. And I hope Donald Trump will work to bring this country together in a way that it really needs.
I mean, you think about Cory Booker and Kamala Harris voting against prison reform, which has historically been an issue that the Democrats have embraced because Donald Trump is for it. Even the right to try legislation. Some Democrats said, no, we don't want to do the end of life special, care that end of life people get. They don't want to do that. I mean, they don't want to do the amnesty for the almost 2 million illegal immigrants last February because Donald Trump said, okay, we have to do something about chain migration. I mean, that's insane. That's just not governing.
Well,
that's just like saying no to everything.
Look, I agree. I was one of those who said to Bill Clinton, you got to work with Newt Gingrich, got to work with the Republicans. We've got to compromise on a balanced budget, welfare reform, debt reduction. You're absolutely right about immigration. You're absolutely right about policies to benefit the economy. I don't understand why the Democrats are doing what they're doing, because it's sure not helping them in the polls. And if they go on this course, it will lead to them losing the Senate, as most observers predict, and even falling short of winning the House, which is something that still remains within reach for them.
Wild.
It is. Makes no sense.
Doug Schoen, it's so great to talk to you tonight. It's very important 500 days into this Trump presidency. Thank you so much. And speaking of 500 days, Trump now has the backing of his own party like few presidents have before him. We're going to debate that and Trump's message to the Philadelphia Eagles today